Get your popcorn. Get your mother popcorn. Do I got some popcorn? Potatoes of popcorn. Get your popcorn. Did they? Listen. This is great. This is amazing. The clarity, the awareness, everything. Y'all might hear the fan in the background, so one moment. All right, let's get on it. Like I said, if you hear the fan, it's just a fan. You know what I'm saying? Just a fan. Just a fan. I want to do this right here or what? Okay, this hold on. I'm telling y'all, like when I start doing my videos and stuff, bro. Some of the house, the windows, got to get screens. And oh my gosh, it irritates me when a fly, bro. I'm telling you, when a fly come in, I know a lot of people can relate. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. Because when you try to make something very pivotal, amazing and stuff, just not the distractions. I think this probably go up on my new channel. I don't know, like Unfiltered Inner Child. It can go on a lot, honestly, because there's just a lot of self-realizations, revelations that I'm having, and so forth. And it's very vital to a lot of growth right now. A lot of growth, a lot of oh yeah, I can get my holder. A lot of growth, a lot of healing, awareness, self-awareness. And this is going to be great because it's definitely going to highlight what a lot of people right now are probably, I ain't going to say focused on, but definitely can relate to right now with everything that's transpiring because of so much is happening. And hold on one second. But yeah, so much is transpiring and unfolding that I know a lot of people are seeking some type of clarity around these things. And this is dedicated to the relationship haters, the people who aren't really lovers. Nah, but anywho, this is I was getting a lot of clarity around just the authenticity of myself, being honest with myself, and then the mature way of going about things in a healthy, holistic way rather than trying to feel like you have to prove or need the validation of anybody. So for one, I'm making this in the full moon of the it's like a completion, so the clarity is beautiful. The full moon energy of Capricorn. And Capricorn, you know, I'm not gonna go too much in details, like the seahorse, sea goat. Some people see it as a goat, but you know, it's the subconscious, also the conscious, and also like building, expansion. Because when you're building something, you expand on it, but it's like also ancestral. So that self-awareness will highlight relationships, partnership, business, and everything pertaining to what it is to be a father, a mother, patriarchally, matriarchally. All these things coincide with each other. So that's the thing that I'm learning now in my progressed moon. For those of you that are not into astrology, that's what I'm speaking about. But in my progressed chart, I have a Libra moon. So balance has been a really important thing, and this has allowed me from my previous Gemini moon aspect where communication was very vital, but still Libra is still an air sign, but it deals with a lot of balance. And I'm recognizing the shift also in my perspective and also my lifestyle, my self-awareness, everything towards that. So now that positions me to a different perspective of like what leadership, how to approach things, how to initiate things, balance in any way that is in a healthy way for me, in a holistic way, because I had to see the duality of things, and had to see the not so much bad and good, but basically see the energy play out. And healing reveals that. Healing reveals, all right, little gnat, a fruit fly with it. But anywho, so a lot of clarity I've been getting is the fact of my deep desires and wants. So a lot of this Capricorn moon, full moon, or just energy, Capricorn energy, which I have a lot in my chart still in the progress aspect. I have a Capricorn stellium is what they call it. So I've noticed that even lately here, my focus is the intention on building. But Capricorn is like a, because when you look at the ancient aspect of the subconscious, because the sea goat, so from the waters, and then evolving or elevating to a higher elevation, ascending. And that from the subconscious, the emotion, and you can look at I look at Capricorn energy like almost like the impossible. But it's impossible, but it's like the impossible or the unbelievable aspect of like you having to integrate something with intention slowly and with progression and resilience. But also the importance of what I've noticed with Capricorn energy is also too the resting, because things are so slow or intentional, to where I've noticed like with Capricorn energy, like you really, some things can take longer than what's usual or than what somebody else can manifest. So when I look at the earth sign aspect, like Taurus being like a manifestation of what I perceive it as internal values. So all of these energies still represent something, but the Capricorn, anything I feel that's ancestral, and the reason I'm saying this is so vital is because me having a Jupiter in Cancer, Chiron in Cancer, these things slowly unravel before me. Mother wounds, father wounds, or basically the energy unfolding around how I was the victim of things into becoming victorious over it. So that's a slow process. And through that process, I've had to see and be revealed through partnership relationships with myself, most importantly, because again, through the drowning in like the what is it, Chiron and Cancer is being so overly invested in other people's emotions where I did not prioritize mine. So gradually I had to swim out and no longer, become a victim of other people's circumstances, or allow what they do or have done to drown, like me drown in their sorrows, rather than, prioritizing my own emotional well-being. So that again, through years, you got it, like Capricorn and Cancer energy are ancestral. So through years, because when you look at Cancer, that's the matriarchal. And right now we're at the peak, or last, what they say, the last degree of Jupiter in Cancer. So a lot of these things I'm getting revelation of has a lot to do with knowing I've done this healing or bringing the awareness to it. So I see the partnership and the progressive aspect, relationships, everything completely different from a higher perspective. From a higher perspective. And that has a lot to do with even my progressive aspect of my sun sign will usually be in Scorpio, but I think it's like in Sagittarius. So that makes a lot of like the philosophical aspect, or even just the fire aspect through transformation, the forging of things. Like, so a lot of energies play out so differently from what I evolved through. So in the progressed chart aspect, those of you that don't really resonate with this, I'm gonna get a little bit more deeper, because if you have been watching from different videos or different channels, I talk on different levels of whether things spiritually or whether things still on the surface level physically. But again, this has allowed me to realize the importance in not just because Capricorn and Cancer is ancestral. They're sister signs. One is surface, and the other one is more spiritual. So this has allowed me, again, through integration, through doing the inner work, the shadow work, and so forth, to recognize that my inner world, for one, is just as vital as my outer. So as I shift with that perspective, as I change, evolve, I realize like things naturally fall away, or things that doesn't evolve with me cannot go. I mean, it's plain and simple. And this is where I want to factor in where a lot of, I don't like to use the word parent because of the word rent and what that really means. Like if you look at the etymology of that word rent, I think it means to destroy or something like that. So a lot of words, I like to say guardian, because I honestly feel we are guardians or protectors when it comes to being, holding authority as a father or mother, like some type of power we have or authority. But what I'm finna factor in is very vital, is the importance of seeing the significance on why you probably met a mother of your children, father of your children, and so forth. But this is definitely I know for a lot of mothers going to be, and this is why, the reason why I'm honored to have a Chiron in Cancer, because it's not for the faint of heart. Those who know. And Jupiter in Cancer, so a lot of shit. I've had to learn so much through the matriarchal, to where I realized that it was going to bring me or usher in an abundant life on all aspects. And I don't just mean financially, even though Cancer in the moon is ruled by finances, like the mother aspect, the matriarchal, because everything begins with the feminine flow of things. And it's like the waves, they flow in, they flow out, But again, that's all things, Anywho. But that's me saying, like, I know a lot of support naturally is going to come from the shift in not so much as being a man, but an understanding of these things, to allow our women to overstand or come to a different awareness or perspective of their life and why it is they make certain choices, or even after that, you still can counter. You still have a life and can live a life of abundance and balance and prosperity. And see, this simply becomes the fact of, with a Libra moon, balance is very vital to me. So in my learning my own imbalance, why would I become a woman hater? through that. That will then reveal what I haven't healed or am holding on to. And that's why I don't mind talking about the relationship with the mother of my kids, the connection I have with my daughter, the significance of everybody involved. Because once you start to really observe, becoming more of the observer, and that's through the process and still through it, like where I have to learn to no longer absorb, because I had a moment with the mother of my kids where I have a piercing look. Like I can look at people, and I've had people actually, well, a woman tell me, she was like, you got to be careful how you look at people because your eyes are very like, they're piercing, or you can look through some, and I had a moment with the mother of my kids where I'm just looking at my daughter, like, I'm just like, and she feels like, or her perspective at that time was like, well, the way you're looking at her and I'm like, looking for one has never killed anyone. I'm observing. It's just the fact of I had to learn through the fact of sometimes reacting is not the best. I'm trying to learn and observe, like, I don't have no control. That's why I had expressed I don't have no control. I'm trying to learn that if I react, then basically I'm giving my power to the situation. Now, how I respond, you may not like it. That's a whole nother thing. See, this is where my own internal growth has come in. But also, I can relate that to the fact of, like, her mother and I were both Scorpios. So we both have an intense look. Scorpios have a look, if you know, you know. And the same thing she said to me, I'm like, in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, you got to look as well. And one thing about our looks, if you know that people have a natural look, you don't have to be a Scorpio, but just an intense energy to where you don't even have to say nothing to nobody. You can just look and they'll feel like you're reading them, or you're trying to undress them, or just other ways where they feel intimidated. And that's the thing where I just look at my dog, I'll just be like, baby, like, really? Or I just be like, and she has the look, because it's like she has certain attributes. I'm like, oh my gosh. But again, what I've learned from all of this is the mothering aspect of how she mothers, or how she shows up. And again, this is just from a perspective where I'm going to dive into, is where I've learned through, for one, the Chiron in Aries. The Chiron through that transit, because Chiron is in Taurus now. But the Chiron, again, the identity we have created around how we assert ourselves in an unhealthy way, whether that's through violence, whether that's through aggression, how we assert ourselves aggressively. That transit was very pivotal for me, because Aries is a fire sign, so you had to find ways to assert yourself and to learn what identity you built around self-abuse, self-harm, and how that plays out through other people, and that affects everybody else. So when you think about a society, I've talked about this before, this is where, again, you see how a nation, a collective, individuals, because everyone doesn't believe in this, because I'm about to talk about the importance of what it is, how people and connections have karmically met, and you can meet someone where partnership, which a lot of collectives don't know the importance of, and then how you have to realize one thing is being a partner, and the other thing is being what y'all call a parent, or I'm gonna just use the word guardian. So just follow me here, or just observe what I'm saying, or resonate if it resonates. But yeah, anywho, so I learned a lot through Chiron and Aries, where deception, manipulation, a lot of things were the identity of people. As much as I didn't want to see it, it had to be revealed. And the reason why I call it out and bring it back to myself, because sometimes we're not aware of the identity we built around what it is that we were groomed to accept or forced to believe and develop a belief system around. Such as myself, I had to learn that my voice is very powerful. So with having children, my approach has to change. You know, the mother of my kids brought that to my awareness. But I also brought to her awareness again of the passive aggressive aspect of you have to show up for yourself, become more in tune, because otherwise you will try to prioritize their emotions over yours and push yours down, and eventually it will come up. And this is just through learning experience. This is through experience, through lived experience, where again, people have built an identity around assuming people have to have it all together, or even just the fact of projecting their belief systems or internal belief systems onto new mothers and fathers or the new generation. Things have changed. So this is where I again factor in the importance of there are people, and I'm talking about myself too, that are great guardians, but not great partners. Sips tea. And this is where honesty has to fucking come in. Authenticity. And I realize as a progressed son and fucking Sag and some other shit, I cannot hide this shit. The fire in me. It's just authenticity. I have to embody, and then not even just that. Jupiter finna move into Leo. So it's like center stage, expansion, all this fire energy. What else? I'm just not finna be the guy or the individual, especially have done the inner work, because in doing the inner work, I protect myself and those connected to me. I cannot drag other people along, but Lilith is in fucking Sag. And that's all about rebellion, authenticity. If you know Lilith energy, ain't going for it. So for me, the shit I'm going to say, it's not an attack on people. It's not forcing shit. It's the fact of I'm not, again, I said years ago when I was like in the what do you call it? At the hotel my mom was going through, like she went through an eviction and stuff, and I had made a video where I was saying years ago, confessing to women, saying that like what most men won't admit is that they develop a hatred, an inner hatred. When you carry a mother wound or a father wound, but let's get on the men. When you carry a wounding that goes, what is it, unbeknownst to people or intergenerational, and you carry your internal wound and you know nothing about, or no one ever told you the importance of it, and you never address what's going on within you, you're going to develop an identity of an internal hatred. That's what a lot of this Chiron and Taurus is going to reveal, is that's what has already through the Chiron and Aries has really slowly, gradually showed me the identity of people. I don't have to say names. I just looked at myself and realized like, oh shit, people have really built the system. All this shit has really built stuff, all disguising it as a love for women, an appreciation for men, a support and all like this. And it doesn't. You cannot convince me that this patriarchal at all supports the uplifting and the empowering around women outside of gender, whatever people subscribe to. You know what I'm saying? Someone last night, which I already probably again have to just dead the whole situation, because internal belief system. You know, some people believe that people who of same sex dating each other is utterly disgraceful or distasteful or dehumanizing. You know, I didn't realize this person was going to come out and say such a comment like they should be, he said they should be, it's not normal two men together, you know, da-da-da-da-da, and some other stuff. He said they should be basically like went to the extent of, and this is not someone I hang around, this is just someone I've associated with, in regards to business. But just the statement alone let me know, like, whoa, like, why do you feel that way? He basically felt like if anybody who participated or operated in such, you know, deeds or whatever, that they're not worthy or valuable. That right there, you know, I was like, well, why do you believe that? I didn't get angry or nothing like that. It's more so goes back to the fact of like knowing people. I was like, oh, I have sisters, or I know people who are you know, operate like that. Or sometimes, and I told him, I was like, sometimes you don't know the depths of people being molested or something traumatic happened to where they actually go down that path. That's not always the case. But again, it's just the authenticity of the fact of like me realizing like this is why I tell myself through integrity, through the identity of people using their current lifestyle and automatically holding this dark cloud over other people just because they don't have a belief system that you have. That's before even the progressed Libra moon I knew I had. None of that shit mattered to me. You got stuff, you got bird, you got animal, you got everything that lives amongst each other, but humans can be so disgraceful or distasteful to where they'll find any reason not to get along or even live amongst people or live amongst each other. And a lot of it's so ignorant. And this is what the Pluto and Aquarius is revealing. Because in a moment where something traumatic or something catastrophic can happen, it ain't gonna fucking matter if that person likes men or she likes women. None of that shit's gonna matter. Do you see where I'm getting at? None of that's gonna matter. Y'all don't realize, like, if something really happened, you think that's gonna matter if somebody's this color or that color? It's not gonna matter. This is why I always say I was gonna get the last laugh from a lot of people, because due to your internal hatred or your internal whatever it is towards whatever it is, you gotta look at that shit at the end of the day. Not me. You gotta live with that. You and whomever's associated with you. So this is why it's very apparent to, again, going back to like he is a father and so forth. And then there's certain things that I don't agree with, but at the same time I realize that I no longer will associate myself with people, because certain things, after they do certain things or say certain things, I be nipping it in the bud. Like, I already plan on detaching myself, simply because I can pick up on the vibe, bro. I can pick up on the vibe just through my progressed energy with doing the healing. I can pick up on the vibe what people are not saying. They'll say one thing with their mouth, but their actions speak louder than their words. So this is why, outside of whether it's a mother of my kids, my own mother, my dad, anybody else, bro, I don't give a fuck about none of that. Your character, your integrity is can be detrimental to any relationship or connection. So this is where I'm going to now dive into the fact of even the fact of, like, again, being a partner is one thing, but being a guardian is another. And most people don't see the holistic aspect in how they're shared worlds. So for one, I had to learn that through when you see a lot of people come together, one night stands, or even something traumatic where people are forced upon, much love and support to those people. Other than that, and healing on their journey, because I'm trying to think, is that a name of fly? But anywho, other than that, just the importance of, again, the healing aspect of what we're navigating through, and a lot of these transits revealing. A lot of it is, again, going to reveal through Chiron and Aries, reveal the identity of people's internal belief system, how they think, how they feel about themselves, how they approach life, and so forth. Other than that, the Chiron and Taurus is going to reveal even more internal insecurities, internal belief systems, and so forth. I'm not finna do this shit. I think that's the last fly that I don't seen come through here. But anywho, and this is where, again, the inner work or the shadow work is definitely going to reveal this. It's going to reveal what people value. hold on one moment. So yeah, again, that's one thing that internal values and things that I can no longer ignore. And that Lilith in Sag is going to be like, for me, I feel like it has, Lilith to me is depths, but at the same time, the authenticity and again, the integrity around things. So this is where what people value, what they uphold, and so forth is going to be a determining factor. Where again, when you usher in being a guardian and being like again, y'all use parent, but being a guardian, then what a partner is. One thing I've learned through a lot of this is revealed again through myself too, my own personal experiences, that a lot of people don't know the importance of what partnership actually is. I mean, on all levels. And it ain't just romantic. I'm talking about emotionally, mentally, physically. Is this person, when I think about longevity, when I think about my well-being overall, does this person have a holistic approach? And it's not about being perfect, because again, this is through growth, because for one, you're learning through someone else's belief system, and then you're learning through someone else's. One thing again, you have two lived experiences. And not everybody, I'm telling you from what I've learned, even after having children, a lot of people don't know the importance of what integrity is. You can grow up in environments where I've talked about before. People grew up in passive aggressive environments. People grew up in traumatic environments. People grew up in all types of environments where a lot of things wasn't important. So a lot of these trances are going to reveal what people's value and what they value. And that's going to be a determining factor for a lot of people moving forward, where you're going to see a lot of people deciding to co-guardian, to focus on their journey and realize how much they missed out on themselves. Because a lot of this goes to the depths of, again, a lot of folks, you got to look at the not just the demographics, but the foundations of things. They don't know how to be a partner, a healthy partner. So you can have a lot of women who have kids, or men have kids by women, but just their initiation or their intentions was just sex alone. And partnership reveals the fact of, for one, your well-being. It ain't just money. So when you hear people and women talk about, I want a man to have this, instead of, you don't hear them say, I actually want him to have emotional maturity, spiritual maturity, mental maturity. This is important because it factors in the importance of belief systems and what the father or mother, or even if they have both or none at all, the importance of what you're going to be planting seeds for longevity. And then after you have a child, you can't undo the fucking child. And a lot of people are oblivious to the fact that once that child has been initiated and then it comes into this world, it's going to reveal every shadow of yourself, every aspect of yourself that you ran from and continue to run from. And I'm telling you personally, I've had to have talks with the mother of my kid. She mirrors things back to me and I mirror things back to her. It's just the fact of, again, some people don't have, and I'm talking about for myself through lived experiences, some people don't have, or when you reflect on their upbringing, like just have dealt with people who dealt with passive aggressiveness, or dealing with people who feel they can disrespect people and never had a foundation where self-respect was important, that can be a determining factor for a lot of what I see a lot of men have went through. Just how they don't know the importance of realizing she doesn't respect herself, or she never actually had a woman or somebody there to teach her the importance of a foundation of self-respect, self-love, self-care. All these things are factored in when you think about longevity and well-being, because this is somebody who's going to be in your life for the rest of your life when it comes to you being the bridge to those kids. So this is where, again, a lot of, I see, internal values are going to pretty much shake the foundations of the men. For women, a lot of the men that they thought or assumed that they were in love, yeah, they were in love, but at the same time, a lot of those men or people didn't love themselves. So that you can see, I'm gonna tell you honestly, this person, like, I've seen it. I've seen so, like this is just raw and real. I was on the dating site to just, meet people, connect with people. And because, not everybody do it for other reasons, like casual reasons. No. I've trust me, I've learned my lesson through that shit, because as I met myself deeper, I realized the importance of even that deeper connection to a woman or to myself, where it's just as women get to that place, they don't want to open themselves up sexually and so forth because of the deeper layers to that, because it's a mental and emotional and spiritual aspect to that. It's very much so when it comes to the fact that with men, they don't talk about it, but I'll be the first to say it. It's the same. We're just as sensitive. You just don't have men who talk about it because they feel like it's taboo. Not to me, because I've had things personally I've had to learn more about myself to where I had to come to a decision where I'm better off being with myself, even after having kids. I'm not ashamed of even talking about that with like, to have these talks or, share this shit. I've already sat with this, like, even with the mother of my kids. But it's just a fact of, like, again, it goes back to the fact of, I can look at my life and say, oh, parenting, I didn't even see people know how to be holistic. Not even just holistic, but whole within themselves or balanced. I didn't even see consistent people knowing how it is to sustain something. So this is where, again, where the partnerships with facing your own subconscious fears, facing things that go on with you, and realizing, like, wow, can I be not even a good guardian? It's not so much, a lot of people are, it goes back to the fact of, like, they want to be, they can be good, they can be great showing up in partnership, but not have no type of blueprint to what it is to be a parent or what it is to be a guardian. That was one thing I had to really realize, like, that was my own karma and karmic lessons. Like I said, I had to learn these deeper things about myself to where they're going to be other men who needs to know the importance of this. This is going to support younger men and women, mothers and so forth, to hear it from a man to tell you, like, listen, he don't have to be ready. He don't have to be forced into it. We come from a fucking culture and generations that were just giving us the bullshit blueprint of just fucking suck and do all this other shit. And you ain't got to worry about being responsible after that. So for one, they know nothing about what it is to be a partner if they didn't experience it. They know nothing else about having, some people, again, they could have saw their mother and father be good or great guardians. But partnership, it's a difference. Because it's still the fact of you showing parts of you. Because if you don't know, it's not so much separating, but there's a different aspect. There's a different perspective to, again, the partnership, which is your relationship with yourself first, and balancing that spiritual and physical aspect, and then you having the whole aspect of what it is to be a father or mother. That's not the same. This is why I said, like, I've had to learn through situations. I had to learn through a lot to recognize the fact of, like, oh, okay. I've always felt like I was being great at knowing how to be a partner in something. I always knew I was going to be a great guardian, But a lot of these things, I cannot say I was prepared for because I didn't see people. It's important to actually see people show you these things, or you see it. Because then when you have a child and now you like, what the fuck? You got this person perspective. And this is where a lot of control, a lot of things come out when a lot of people haven't healed or know the importance of the layers that come with learning yourself before you choose who you're going to have a child by. Because it's so important for you and that person for that you individually to even have knowledge of self, goals and so forth. So when you see a lot of partnerships outside of just the father and motherhood, because you have so many people just consumed by that. So when then your partner or person who goes out there and is going after their goals, you have an issue, you have a problem with it. Because this is not just fatherhood. But some people actually go after their goals and set their goals with the intention of it just becoming the best father or mother figure. And that right there, again, you're missing a partnership aspect with yourself. Because you know what you're going to create? Resentment is going to grow because now you're out here trying to hustle. Now you're out here trying to outdo. You don't even know this. You ever seen parents or guardians trying to outdo each other? Because what it reveals is the inability or the inconsistency in them showing up for themselves. That's the healthy partnership. That's the Libra balance and everything. When a person doesn't have balance in their life, it typically is going to play out through every connection. So if you haven't had, like, again, from personal experience, when I didn't have a balanced home, I didn't know how important it is until I lived with other people. Because I didn't actually think it was important to have my own shit. So guess what? That only revealed the imbalance in me. Where in me that I didn't feel worthy of having my own? Where within me I didn't feel significant or value to actually to build something sustainable? These are that Chiron and Taurus, things, how I now look at money, how I now look at resources, how I now look at assets. Again, these things reveal the importance of what partnership represents, and also internal values and what you're building on. Capricorn energy, what you and someone else is building on. You have to have an identity outside of just mother and fatherhood. I've had to say shit in front of the mother of my kid. I'm like, yo, I'm building a life towards balancing rest. Rest with goals, with creating an abundant life. That's not going to be possible and this is no attack on her. This is just raw and real shit. If I look at your life, yes, I'm appreciative and grateful how you're showing up, but you still have to learn through people. And you still have to be able to observe, to realize, like, it's still appreciation even in where people don't know that it's not so much a mistake, but them unconsciously realizing that they're in a loop or a pattern. This is where accountability comes in, y'all. This is where partnership comes in. Telling the person, man, you need to rest. You need to chill. Hey, I got this. That ain't got shit to do with father and motherhood. It's just the fact of the concept of how we wrap everything into what it is to be a mother and father, and forgot about the inner child, because the inner child is going to remind you, because that's partnership. That's essence. Your imagination. You have to walk hand in hand with your inner child. That's partnership. So when you have people who have been around people most of their life and don't know how to be with themselves, this is where the relationship with yourself becomes a priority, where you actually heal and do the inner work and so forth. And then that's where the foundations of where you and whomever you're married to in a partnership relationships become shaky. And it's not so much of what they're not doing, it's so much of how much they're not showing up for themselves in the dynamic. And when they forget about it and they lose sight of themselves, they lose sight of that partnership. You have to know the importance or get to know the fact of, like, you ever been in something or learned to be in something where you so fully focus on yourself that you're not concerned about what they do? That's healthy partnership. That's hope. That's what really being holistic is. Being whole is meaning, like, if something happens to this person, I still got me. And that ain't just from self-sufficiency. That's a part of it. But it's the fact of, like, learning what it is to be emotionally balanced. Because, in all honesty, I know I've said stable, but that's stable is also a balance. You got to stabilize yourself when you're riding a horse. Because if you don't know how to have balance and shit, you're going to fall off. And even when you fall off, you're still falling on what they say hard times, but you still have to counter that shit and look at it from a different perspective. Because what end up happening when you lose sight of your own partnership, your relationship with yourself, and not knowing what it is to be whole, when you have these perspectives, that's my other half. Other half of what? I'm not no other half of nobody. So these things reveal the importance of how a person can show up. And why certain things, where you get to a place where you've decided where, you know, being a co-guardian is more important right now, because for one, we will get to that point is that, and again, this is not everyone's story. It's just the importance of some people have gotten to a place where some things you just can't come back from. And sometimes it gets to a place where some people don't have, they put in so much effort and energy towards things to where you can't get that time back. And that's the thing where value is important. So again, that's going to be one of the very things that come up for a lot of people, is that it's just like it's going to be a switch that turn on when they realize, like, worth is going to be a very important thing around these transits. It's going to reveal where people true inner values, where they lie. And integrity is big for me. That doesn't still mean you don't care, you don't love people and so forth. You just realize the importance of having to move differently is the importance of protecting yourself. And even sometimes where people are unaware that they're in a loop or unaware of certain things, and they can have the emotion towards it and so forth. This is where that being honest with yourself will realize that it's protecting yourself. And again, I've learned this through with being more with myself, to where I realize that a lot of people have, again, society has a lot of codependency issues, financial dependency. This is why I realize how I get attacked or have gotten attacked through navigating and being on a path of least travel when it comes to entrepreneurship. I didn't know everything about it, but it still revealed the characters of people, even where money wasn't involved. It was the spiritual currency. It was the integrity. It was how I made shit happen. And that reveals, again, the mask that people hold up, even through whether you're in a relationship or partnership or business where you want to go towards something more independent, or you want to go to more something to where it's teaching you a valuable lesson. It's important to go down those roads without judgment. And that's another thing that revealed to me in relationships, partnerships, everything with people. It was the judgment. It was the support, and even through things where there wasn't encouragement. There was more so criticism. There were more judgment. And again, learning to not so much have tough skin, not giving a fuck. Because a lot of people ain't going to care until it's tangible. Or a lot of people ain't going to want to come along, they want to jump on the bandwagon after certain things happen. Again, this is what partnership reveals. Once you go on a journey and you self-discovery, self-awareness, whatever you want to call it, enlightenment, all these different things, it will reveal, mirror back to so many people where there's shortcomings, it seems, or even the fact that it will reveal to like how they're trying to keep up backhanded compliments. It's basically revealing the shadows of people. And you cannot, and I had to learn not to take it personal. I had to learn how to take it personal because it became very egoic. It became very, I was realizing like in my consistency and staying persistent, people became their egos became very big. Or their shadows start to rise up simply because of my confidence. You know what I'm saying? And keep going with it. The attacks came, and this is through whatever influence, those who know spiritually, or again, internal things, their internal belief system on what a partner should be, what a relationship should be, how a marriage should be. It will reveal the controlling nature in people. It also will reveal the fact of, again, this factor in the importance of what y'all call a good parent. What is what it is to be a great guardian. What is that? And there's so many perspectives because you got so many lived experiences, so many people who live with trauma who didn't, so many people who grew up in homes where there were verbally or, abuse and so forth. One thing it revealed to me that I couldn't hide is the fact of no one is going to criticize me. And if the fact of the matter is, I didn't even know what it was to be a father. And just even taking the having the confidence to show up for myself, again, partnership, to show up for yourself, and then to really factor in the importance of balancing that with showing up with your children and or your partner. And it can be very difficult for a lot of us out here, or some people, where you realize a lot of where a lot of co-parenting really comes in, or being a co-guardian. A lot of you don't know this, but the clarity of it is that you'll realize that y'all don't know how to show up for each other. And I don't mean like, no, not just for each other. First, know how to show up for yourself. Because now you have this inner child. Your inner childs don't even mesh because you're not in tune with your inner child. Now you're in competition with each other. And you don't realize you're playing this out through parenthood, through being a guardian. And that's through lived experience. I ain't gonna bullshit you. And like I said, I love the individual. I appreciate him. At the same time, this is where grace comes in, because sometimes people don't know. Just like I had to tell the mother of my kids, like, you think I wanted to be beat on when I was young? You think I wanted my mother to be that way? You think I wanted my father to leave? Really have these conversations with yourself and with people. You think I really wanted to go through that? You think I really want to harm people? Like, in my inability to realize, like, damn, you have to learn to manage your emotions. And now navigating through that and being much better and being authentic, because that's what integrity is. What the fuck makes y'all think you or anybody else is going to project your insecurities or anything? That goes with anybody, because I don't need no approval or validation to actually have people come and think that I give a fuck about how they perceive my being a father or being me. Because a lot of people I know in the past that really tried to do that was a lot of people that when they attacked my artistry or came at me about even just entrepreneurship, y'all got to realize beyond entrepreneurship, it's a part for me, what it is for me. It's not just the art. It's not just the money. It's the fucking imagination I'm keeping alive. If that leads me into another world and where Again, where people value and appreciate the imagination from it, the authenticity from it. Because adulthood is not separate from childhood. It's no difference in it's different versions of you. It's no difference in partnership and father and motherhood. Childhood becomes before all that shit. The partnership aspect is the inner child relationship dynamic that you're partnering with into adulthood, into you becoming a father or a mother. It's different versions that are all connected, interconnected. But once you remove all the titles, you will start to see how, what's the word? In sync people are not. I don't even know unsync or it's not even a word, but basically, how in sync people are not with their essence or with who they truly are. So that's why I've learned to just realize like these are other people's projections. I said before, I'm creating a life I don't have to vacation from. So what that means for me is not the same for you. Some people mind to go towards finances first. Yes, finances are vital. But I also learned that when I look at my chart, when I look at what I'm building, this shit is bigger than me. So it makes sense why people have criticized or project their insecurities and so forth towards me. Not realizing like I be sitting back, and this is how I learned through how people are so competitive in their dynamics and relationship and would never admit it. Y'all are so ego driven. Y'all are so combative and competitive against the person that you say you love, but it only reveals that you don't love your fucking self. You don't honor who you really are. Because that person, even through, this is why I can address this shit with the mother of my kid. I know the reasons and the depths of why I make the decisions that I make. I don't need her to make that for me. At the same moment, I too know how it will affect the children. At the same moment, it's still the authenticity and the integrity through it. You got some people who walk away and never have the one-on-one with their children. Never actually, again, repress the shit and move on and never have the conversation. I realized what I told you, what I've been doing is that I've come to the self-realization of that this is something karmically playing out. Where my father did something similarly, but I just went a different route. I'm actually addressing it. That's what people don't realize. In partnership with yourself, there are things intergenerationally that you haven't addressed, that you suppress and continue to repress through the relationship dynamic without getting to know yourself more deeper. There's also shit where your partner has things intergenerationally, which is generational patterns, curses, or learned behavior patterns, which all this is about patterns, pattern recognition, observation, not overly obsessing, because then obsession ain't nothing but an unhealthy attachment where people don't know how to move on, or you see this person, they unhappy with themselves. All that reveals is the fact of their inner child, father or mother wounds. You mad at that man because he moved on with somebody else because his inner child is more meshed with the other person? Or that woman? And y'all don't realize you don't sit with and address that shit and allow yourself that duration before you actually move on? Because yes, people disguise that shit when they do move on with or without kids. They'll tell themselves, but literally you will sit back and I'm telling you through observation, people looping through the same fucking pattern. This is why you see the patterns of so many unsuccessful marriages. This is what I do. I'm not a relationship counselor. No. This is observation, people. This is through experience. This is showing you patterns. This is why people have so many fucking failed relationships or marriages. It's because they never truly, when you look at the generations we come from, Who the fuck? It ain't even just celebrities. Who the fuck have we seen? Who have you seen that has something holistic? Who actually see themselves as whole? And actually live it out through integrity? Who? On what world stage? Who has sat down and acknowledged and actually paid attention and actually can say, damn, I can bring it back to myself. Because that's what holistic is. You bringing it back to self. To see thyself, to show thyself approved. Whole. To see self whole. Yin and yang. Learning through your connections. Your interactions with people. Because it's going to mirror back feminine and masculine principles. Or whether you want to see it as feminine. Whatever it is. It's going to mirror back something. Because I've seen learn, like, your projections is basically coming from a place of where you don't feel whole. You don't feel stable or balanced. Because why do you feel that what you're living out is supposed to be my reality? Why are you trying to control? And this is through experience too. Why you feel like you have to try to control? That's why a lot of people run from correction. They run from the mirror. They run from themselves because they know that people carry the energy. One thing about being in tune with yourself, you will literally mirror back to people, whether you know it or not, just by being who you are. It will trigger or bring up shit within them that they've been running from. The person that moves away and gets into, deciding to be co-parent with someone, somebody in there had to decide that their value was more worthy of dealing with whatever shit. And that's not always the case, because some people just move on it in a way to where they don't really truly acknowledge what's going on with them. Because again, there's always a duality to everything that has been out here. Whether you call it co-parenting, co-guardianship, some people do that shit out of spite. Some people do that shit, they haven't healed. They're still unhealed. This is why you see people try to keep kids and do certain shit to keep people away. And again, baby, you're bitter, you're unhappy. Homeboy, same thing. Y'all don't try to mend shit with yourself and then make amends with that person. Sometimes, yeah, I get it. You have to let shit play out. At the same moment, there's still gonna be something where the children are always they're gonna figure you out. Because naturally they come with authenticity. They're born with this purity. And when you come back home to yourself, that's what you're doing. You're coming back home to that partnership with your inner child. And most of the time, that's the revelation, the self-realization, whatever you want to call it, the clarity that you get in that dynamic. Is that you realize, like, it's nothing against the person. I just realized when you look at it from an inner child perspective, when you look at the fact of my goals are not just beyond the fact of what you think you're building towards is more focused, money driven. That's not the purpose of it all. When you look at the inner child aspect of that, that's the importance of what partnership really is. Your children are supposed to see you get along. Your children, their child wants to act there because they're a child. They reflect back to you the importance of embodying joy, embodying what it is to feel safe and secure within themselves. This is how they express themselves. So when you have dynamics where people don't have that, and that's not a priority, that's not a foundation, you're in something that is trauma bonding. I wanted to ignore all this shit, but I had to come to the awareness of through relationship dynamics. When someone doesn't do the inner work or go to wars and make excuses, let me tell you something. Y'all be making so many excuses on why you're not trying to go towards something, and you don't take no accountability on your role and I mean the role in what you play to even having that child. It's not everybody's, it's not, you can't put the blame on on one person. That's the balance. You keep trying to put the blame on that person, and while you're in the situation you're in, you're going to end up in the same shit, in the same loop. We're healing and acknowledging shit over here. We live in an abundant universe. You are the universe. When something is removed, it can easily be replaced. But if you're still putting the same fucking energy out there, if you're still going through the same, cycling through the same fucking men, with the same fucking, with no core values, that's something that is sustainable and is beyond what you're familiar with, and you're afraid of the unknown. And again, this is where the spiritual woman and man comes in. Not just any spiritual man and woman. I mean those who, the holistic and balanced aspect. Those who have faced themselves deeper to know they're not tolerating bullshit. Not the ones who are spiritually immature, who are just using their shit to just try to manipulate and deceive, because that's still a part of the physical and spiritual aspect. A lot of y'all are very deceptive with that shit. Very narcissistic when it comes to spirituality. This is why the spiritual community is being cleansed. This is why so much shit is being cleansed, is because y'all don't want nobody to hold a fucking mirror to y'all face. I couldn't run from it. And sure as fuck is not running from it, because I can appreciate it. I can appreciate the growth that I have to realize, like, this no longer is for me. And then I have to surrender, because the unknown will have your ass surrendering to the fact of, well, you may have to in this season rest a little bit more, to where at a time you were just hustling and going. This time around, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to show up for yourself, to dig up, to build a deeper internal aspect, to learn more about your inner child, to get in connection with your inner child, and to create a healthy balance between that partnership with you, so you can actually align with someone with similar like-mindedness or core values, so you can actually build on something more sustainable. That's longevity. Fuck you building on something, keep opening your legs and having more kids. It's not sustainable. Same thing with men. Bro, I'm not finna be around nobody who out here who don't, you can tell they don't prioritize their well-being, but you're gonna keep going out here fucking on something, making children. No. Because I know the discipline. In order for me to balance and structure my life, I even had to tell the mother of my kid, no, right now, respectfully, no. And that's something I decided within myself. It ain't even about her. I just communicated it to her. Because there's certain things within myself, different layers of me, where I realized, like, wow, I can see where I haven't been the best guardian, because first, I had to show up. I didn't know what it is to be the importance of what it is to be a great partner to myself first. So again, I had to develop a more healthy relationship with myself first. How am I going to show up with being a good a guardian? So a lot of these things factor in when y'all realize, like, now the importance of this is you deciding. You know what I'm saying? You learning this now is so you can catch it, see the loop, so your kids don't got to make that decision. That don't mean you got to be at odds with the mother of your children or your father. That's just a lesson in it. You become the best of friends or a partnership. A lot of shit comes to that place where, again, a lot of people make these decisions or will come to this self-realization, realizing, like, at a time you could have just, again, I'm not judging the holding no cloud. You know, you could have just fucked with homeboy because he had money. Or, you know, you could have just met homegirl because, man, that joint was fire. Woo, boy. Da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, and then now you don't win. You know, again, just saying, like, you led with lust, and lust ain't gonna be sustainable. This doesn't mean that things cannot work out or shift to where something can be sustainable or for longevity. Bro, doing inner work is not for the faint of heart. Because it's going to reveal versions of you and other person that you're not going to like. You don't have to accept. And I don't know the deal breaker between that and you and that person. Again, there are going to be things once you realize, like, a lot of you have been in shit for years or so long to where you're going to realize, like, it's going to hit you. And then sometimes it can be like, oh my gosh, I really didn't know my worth. And what it's going to do is going to reveal the layers of insecurities within yourself and what you built the shit upon, which is insecurities. I'm just a mirror. It's just real and raw. You can lie to yourself all you want to. But you can run from yourself all you want. Bro, a lot of this shit, when you look at the foundations of this generation or the generation before us, a lot of the shit they built it on was on insecurities, was not sustainable. If it was, then we wouldn't be here talking about this shit. Or I wouldn't, but it just shows you, like, the collapse in things. Like, don't be surprised. Because a lot of things where it's not going to matter. So, like, to someone else, money matters to them more than their well-being. And that's going to be a deal breaker for people. It was a deal breaker for me in a lot of things because how I was treated. And that's where a lot of men would never acknowledge, but you hear this topic a lot, is that I couldn't be that man that people focus on the fact of, like, well, if he don't have this, he not this, he not a man. What the fuck? These belief systems are horrible to me. This is my perspective. Like, what? People don't take consideration. Like I said, you don't have to be with that man. You don't have to accept that man. That's fine. To me, you doing me a favor because it prevents me from, like, going down a road where I don't have to ignore who I am because I want to get to know myself. So that protects me from the fact of you not even knowing what the importance of partnership really is or what it is, because it's all an investment. And no one wants to feel like they wasted their time. That's what coming to know your worth is, when you see how much you've invested into people, into things. And reciprocity is one. All these things factor in: respect, core values, all these things, core values, integrity. And so one of the biggest things that you see society with is, like, how they just try to devalue men and women if they don't, like, you see this shit, like, if a woman don't give up her body, they devalue her just because she didn't want to give you something, bro. Or even how some women, they actually value themselves just by that alone. He not getting this unless he had it. It's just like, what? And that really screams the fact that people don't know what partnership really is, or healthy partnership. Where, again, there are going to be seasons. There are going to be moments where that man, something may happen behind the scenes where you don't know. And then he has to change his whole trajectory, his whole perspective on life, and dig deep and rebuild itself mentally, emotionally, and so forth, because it ain't just financial. You think it's just happening on the surface. There are things that men don't discuss, is because there's been this belief system around them being silent or them not expressing their emotions is not important. But that's the opposite. Because I'm telling you through lived experiences, just to see how I've been treated without people perspective. Because I've had money, but it's just to feel like they don't feel like I should have had this by now, or this, or I should have had, why is he doing this? It's just the fact of how many perspectives or how many projections can come upon somebody, and not knowing what they're building, and probably most likely are going to have more money than all of them. When all of this shit is said and done, or things already are happening or in emotion, you think someone doesn't have motion just because you're looking on the surface. And that's what spiritual currency is, motion. It's currency. And that's the thing about integrity. It reveals the integrity in people, how they treat you, their character, how they treated you through all of this. How your intentions were pure or relatable you were. And just, again, sometimes it goes to the fact of this is where people aren't great partners. Because a great partner will be encouraging, supportive in the best way they know how. And again, this is not the fault people. It's just some people don't know how. They didn't see it. They didn't see their mother and father be nurtured through shit or supported emotionally, mentally, spiritually through certain things. Coming from certain demographics, they didn't see that. They saw people get abused. They saw people get talked shit to. They saw people get kicked out. And y'all don't realize, like, this is what society has breeded. This is what y'all society has got y'all so divided amongst yourself and each other. Dissociated so much from emotion, from the emotional empathy of realizing, like, not only will the tables turn, but then you're going to reap your karma simply because of what you put out universally. And then your accessibility to that person. Because you just assume that in their relationship and so forth, you didn't know how to manage your emotions, or just because you have to pick up, I'm not going to say more hours, but just pick up this and this to where you think in the long haul that person is just going to forget about you. Or, for some cases, some people do that. But with emotional empathy, you realize, like, no, you actually appreciate. Like, I'm grateful people showed me who they were. Because, again, my core values is integrity. So I know how to deal with them. I know how to, They showed me the cards they dealt. They revealed their hand. So I know how to deal with them. Other than that, this is where, again, a lot of things factor in. Where, again, things that are revealed. Prioritizing what they prioritize. You don't got to be revengeful. A part of people, I can't tell how to move, but that's been one of the things where I said I'm going to get the last laugh. That's more pertaining to the fact of I don't got to seek revenge. I'm already getting the last laugh simply because I realized, like, in getting to know myself deeper, the healing aspect will reveal, again, how you didn't know how to be a partner. How you didn't know what it is to be a parent or a guardian. You think these videos and writing these books was just in vain? Fuck no. I realized I had to be honest with myself because I couldn't run from myself. If I know what I led with, why would I sit here and realize, like, dang, no, I don't know. I had to learn through the fact of, like, realizing, for one, I knew how to bump and grind, but I didn't know how to invest the time within myself, what it is to prepare to even be what a father, again, that identity is something you grow into. It's not something, and that will always change. It's not something that someone can tell you how to be and who to be. That's the issue with a lot of people. The world wants to tell people how and what it is. Again, I've noticed where I know what it is for me to be in my journey of becoming whole within myself, what fatherhood is going to look like for me. That's not going to, I'm telling you, seeing other men, it's not going to look nothing like what they do at all. Because I know a lot of people that don't even, for one, prioritize rest. I'm not a hustler. I'm a creator. I know in times where it's a surrendering. And through a lot of this, you're going to come to learn that you're not going to be liked and accepted by the mother of your children, the father of your children, a lot of things, because it's going to reveal, again, a dysregulated nervous system. It's going to reveal their core values. It's going to reveal so many different things where it's just going to reveal their shadow around how they perceive what it is to be in a relationship. And the shadows can be insecurities around codependency, financial dependency, abuse, and certain, layers of things. Shadows reveal layers of people. This is why before we judge, we need to realize, like, sometimes this person don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just going. And that's the thing where, again, how we are attacked through the fact of us not knowing. Especially as, I'm just going to use as an indigenous man in this country or in certain places. Rest for me here is something that I know I have to travel and go other places, because it's not something that is prioritized even by people that look like me and don't look like me. And that's a collective thing. I've never had nobody in my like immediate family or that, second family. I've never had nobody to encourage me to rest. Ain't that fucked up? After all this shit as a man, not just even as a man, as a darker man, or what has been experienced in this country, how much propaganda, how much fear-mongering, how much projections, how much silence or not being said by men that look like me, how much gatekeeping, how much shit in the spiritual community and so forth, through ego, through people's inability to really learn themselves and so forth. Again, dealing with the inner child, how much non-support, and again, how much they judge. And the reason why I say I'm going to get the last laugh is because all that opposition or all that shadow energy being exposed, I alchemize that shit. All the projections, all the bullshit. I'm still going to rest. I'm still going to create and manifest a life that I know I'm worthy and deserving of. Knowing that I already have it. I've already seen it. And changing the whole trajectory around community, union with self, just so many different things. Shattering the illusion. I'm going to continue to shatter the illusion around what fatherhood, what relationship, partnership is, and so forth, because that's a evolution with myself. Who the fuck gonna come try to tell me this is how I'm supposed to be as a man, as a father, as an individual, as a human being, whatever the fuck you want to say? Go live your own world. You know nothing about what it is. I was telling another man the other day, I'm like, people can look at your life, but you will never know that somebody had to go through identity theft. You don't know why the divine has initiated me on an entrepreneurial journey to show me that, hey, continue going through this. Everything else will clear up, but continue to go through this. Because I got to show you who's trying to hinder you, but in essence, they're hindering themselves. They're only creating more karmic debt. And that's from a government aspect, family, friends, spouses. It don't matter. Y'all got to realize, through being authentic and integrity, you have to accept the villain as being the fucking hero. It's a duality. It's a yin and yang. Because I refuse to do what? You know what I refuse to do? I refuse to think that I gotta save a motherfucker from their karma. That's the biggest turning point in my life right now. So make me out to be whatever the fuck you want me to be. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I don't give a fuck. Because that's what the healing will reveal. The art of not giving a fuck. Detaching. Because one of the biggest things is that through that, once you realize that partnership will show you that you have to balance between not giving a fuck and actually allowing that person to actually go through their suffering. And I mean suffering at their own karma. Like allowing them to actually, what was that earlier? That quote. Because I don't encourage medicine. But actually, Getting a dose of their own medicine. That's what it is. Getting a dose of their own shit. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. And I don't mean that in a vindictive way. No, it's more so like I have to do these things. Because that's the thing about a visionary. That's the thing about a vision. When you start to see that, oh, this person was on my path to show me the importance of, in their inability to evolve, because that's what partnership will reveal. When you think someone's supposed to come along with you, or when you think that they're supposed to do everything with you. No, balance is realizing you have to balance with yourself and then with everybody else. There's going to be emotions, yes. There's going to be a lot of things. There's going to be unexpected things. There's going to be a lot of shit to factor in. But that's a part of internal growth and external growth. And everyone's not willing to grow and go with you. That's the beauty of layers of when people try to tell me, or like, it's so much shit being revealed to me. It's like, for one, like I said, it's fucked up to try to attack someone through them learning. And especially you fucking guardians or parents who y'all grew up with narcissistic templates and controlling and all this shit and swear y'all know so much. We're not ever confessing to say, you know what, I didn't know that. I don't know nothing at all. Because you refuse to take accountability. That's not the fatherhood that I'm creating. That's not manhood. No. I don't know everything. And in my not knowing, I'm surrendering. But I know that I'm going to be taken care of by being honest and being surrendering. And realizing, like, in surrendering, you observe and actually learn from that other person. You learn from the situations. You surrenderance will have your ass learning that your mother and father was never healthy for themselves and or you. Surrenderance will have your ass reflecting on the repressed and suppressed emotions. Surrenderance will have your ass realizing, like, wow, there's still more, not so much work to do. There's still so much, I'm still integrating. There's still so much being revealed to me. To where now, people can say what they want. I don't give a fuck. I still got to show up for myself. They still going to talk. That's outside of me. I didn't ever need their approval anyway to be great, to be grand, to be amazing, to be who I am. I didn't never need your approval. So again, the whole trajectory, the whole perspective of life is changing. If we came from narcissistic templates, controlling, deceptive, manipulative people who mask, baby, whether you have children or not, this message will still be for you to prepare yourself to realize, like, it's important how you're going to, in choosing yourself, a balance into how you choose another person. I had to go through these lessons to realize, like, why would I hold resentment towards anybody where I actually had to learn through it, where I actually had to receive that awareness, and see, that's the learning the post-traumatic growth of things. The post-traumatic stress will allow me to stay in that shit, in the loop. No, post-traumatic growth will have me realizing to show more of appreciation towards myself, the people, and everything that transpired through that. And this is for those who grew up in traumatic experience. If you didn't, then you still can get clarity now to actually see the importance of, it's okay to be patient with yourself. It's okay for you not wanting to have children. A lot of this shit that's happening right now, y'all don't realize it's divine intervention. It's a reason why a lot of women or people not want the dating pool or whatever it is, the way it is. Because you're seeing an influx of energy play out in the shadow aspect to show how not so much unhinged, but so much of how people are unhealed or take no accountability or ignore the truths about themselves with or without kids. Like I told you, on them sites, I see so many fucking women and I see so much control that they don't even realize that they have. I see so much of the narcissistic energy playing out because they want so much structure, and I get it to have standards, but you got to look at shit realistically, unrealistically. A lot of us had unrealistic, like, shit was unrealistic. Come on now. Now you get to know yourself, you can build from an intentional space. It's not too late. If it was too late, I would have never still tried before I even had my daughter. I was building shit before the mother of my kids, bro. Sis. And that's why I told her, I'm not going to stop just because we had children. I'm not going to stop just because whether we're together or not. That's how you have to be so committed to your journey, your imagination, your essence. I'm not going to stop now. People stop when they get married. People stop when they have children. Oh, man, that's some bullshit that they tell each other. Oh, man, I got kids now, dog. You know, I can do the same thing. Bullshit. Now, I get, now, I'm not talking about low vibration or shit that, whether, I ain't even going to say, just, you know, a certain discipline you got to have, of course. It's discipline. Because that's what the healing journey will have you on. Whether healing or enlightenment, whatever it is, structure and balance is discipline. If I want this life, I'm going to have discipline towards getting what I need to do. And that's what a lot of people don't fucking have. With partnership, you got to have discipline. And when you grew up with no discipline, with nobody reminding you the consequences that this can happen before you have a child, that means you lack discipline. You didn't have discipline. Sexual discipline. And a lot of you as women and men, you don't have sexual discipline. You are still out here fucking. You still out here hunching and bumping and gumping and dumping because they feel good, because you still don't have discipline to actually restrain from it, to actually see why it is. And did you ever have a holistic or sacred aspect to be introduced to sex? A lot of mothers and fathers, they just did it for the comfort, for the safety, for the security, for the financial security, for the house, for this. Let's be real. Y'all don't be wanting to, bro, I'm going to be real and authentic. Man, come on now. Let's be real. Whether it was lust or not, y'all still carry that shit. You can still carry it as a daughter. Just because your dad met. I told somebody, I like, how did your mom and dad meet? Then you got to think about the energy of how these motherfuckers met. No partnership. Just lust. They became guardians, or they became, like they use the term, yeah, they became parents, but they didn't have no discipline. Because you know what discipline is? Responsibility to yourself and to your child. What the fuck is y'all building here? You still mad at the man knowing he ain't had no discipline. He didn't even have sexual discipline. What the fuck make you think he was going to be responsible for his well-being and that child? So if anything, get you together so you can realize, like, through that, you will attract, not even just attract, because you're going to attract many things, but you will have discernment, because discipline will have your ass being discerning. Discipline will have your ass listening to your intuition. No longer ignoring the signs, or realizing this person isn't a great at being a partner. And I'm not talking about potential, because potential, oh my God, I'm not going there. Because people with this potential shit shows you the lack of boundaries. That's discipline. Discipline gonna have your ass having boundaries. Because we all been there. Potentially this person can become this, can become that. Now, when you realize that they have been so far gone, there's gonna come a time where Source, the creator, the Most High, is gonna tell you, listen, all these fucking signs, all these karmic signs and shit, I'll keep showing you. This shit is done. Nip it in the bud. But your lack of discipline, or your inability to have discipline with yourself, to not have sex, to keep not having sex with this person, to keep bringing babies in here through this same karmic fucking energy. Yes, a loop, because that's what a karmic loop is, to keep having these children. And that's self-realization. I'm telling you from experience. I had to tell myself that I'm not finna have no child. Because I'm telling you, when a person doesn't have sexual discipline, you can have a partner who doesn't have it. You can have more discipline. But you know that you can be like, okay, let's do this. Yeah, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And the same shit will play out. They don't have no discipline. Because they got some type of sexual demon, or, you know, what do you want to call it? Demon or entity attachment? No discipline. Because the discipline will reveal that motherfucker. The discipline will reveal the trauma, because that's a spirit. The lust. It will reveal that shit on that journey. So in certain demographics, don't just think, oh, just because you see it in certain trenches or certain places, it just happens there, baby. You have just as much sexual predators in the quiet neighborhoods. They just do it very discreetly. And that's why I was talking about this show the other day. Is it How to Find a Predator? It was something to where you seeing all these officials or certain people behind the fucking scenes that are supposed to be protecting our children are actually the ones, or sexual fucking predators, who are actually ones dealing with this shit more deeper than anybody else. They just mask it well, baby. These energies, this shit is going to reveal all the shit. And once you see that it's them, it's going to show you where the value of what has been sustaining, exposing the foundation of that fucking society, group, corporation that we all know when it comes back home to ourselves and it relating to the fucking kids. Then it collapsed everything around that shit. Then when your discernment picks up, you'll actually realize that some of y'all have predatory behavior when you don't have sexual discipline. You as women and men, we gonna fucking call it out. So you want to talk about being a great partner? This nigga don't got sexual discipline. He out here doing this, and you're wondering why your children are subjected to fucking potential of being touched on or molested, baby. We have to break the fucking cycle, the generational pattern. See the fucking loop. Vetting process. Take your ass through a vetting process. I say this to you just like I would say to the mother of my children, anybody else. Your inability to have discipline and restrain from sex, and not even just sex, but to get to know your fucking self, then you get mad at a man because you don't know how to clamp that shit, because you don't know how to heal and realize like he's not worthy because you're not worthy of harnessing your own sexual energy and creativeness. That's the imagination, the sacral and solar plexus, and wonder why your foundations are the way the fuck it is. You actually think people out here got it better in another neighborhood? All that shit about to collapse, baby. All of that shit, when you know what that shit is built on, all that shit about to collapse, baby. Because they're just as much as predatory people. This is just a glimpse of the energy the veil is lifted. This is showing you. When I talk about partnership, I'm talking about the shadow aspect to all of this shit. The world's about to see its own fucking reflection of what the fuck y'all have allowed, of what you've been tolerating. And you want to call yourself and uphold yourself to this fucking authority and all this other shit. Y'all ain't got no fucking authority. You ain't got no fucking spiritual rank because you ain't got no fucking discipline. You ain't even got no discipline. How you gonna have rank? These people don't gave y'all this misconception of what ranking and all this shit is, bro. You ain't even got no discipline. That's why the fuck these kids won't listen to you. Because they can actually see and sense your spiritual ranking. They don't fucking respect you. Because you don't respect yourself. Because once you rank and you actually get deep into that shit and you become more self-aware, those demons other people facing with, angels and demons or whatever want to mask themselves, spirits and shit, baby, they know who the fuck you are. Once you rank, they know that they don't have no dominion over you. Times are changing. Don't you waste your time, young man and women. I'm telling you, you want your daughter, you are the fucking future. She watching your ass not have discipline. Bringing men, bro, I'm trying to tell you, I don't have to have these conversations to the closest women to me. You might not like this shit now, but The universe will give you warnings. This is how y'all fumble people. You will make it out to be that the father or this person. Just say you didn't know. You didn't know how to be a fucking mother. You didn't even face the internal wounds and shit. And the fact of you having to be responsible early for your mother, for your brothers and sister early. So now you sitting here thinking, oh, I'm ready for a child. Whole time you got abandonment issues. Whole time you don't abandon your whole self-awareness around who you are, your whole childhood, because mama and daddy, was working or want to do this and provide home and shelter. There's an appreciation and value to that, but that is not your life. That is not supposed to be your fucking life. When you ascend and you evolve, you will come to that awareness and you will be so frustrated and realize like, damn, I'm not supposed to live this life. I'm not supposed to be fucking suffering through that shit. They were suffering. They were in a fucking loop. Y'all come on, fucking having babies back to back ain't even allowing your uterus, ain't even allowing your body. The body keeps the score. You ain't even allowing your body to rest. You ain't even allowing your mental and emotional space. You've been in a loop. It's the same thing with dudes. Post-traumatic, they don't call the shit, what they call that shit? Not post-traumatic stress, but, what's the other shit called? They just think women go through that shit. What's that shit that after birth? Y'all know what I'm talking about. After a woman have a baby. Postpartum depression. What makes you think that men don't go through that shit? Y'all gotta stop this shit separating yourself. It's an interconnectedness that happens with that child. Before that child, the essence, the soul, everything, the energy of that, the creation of that, everything sitting around that. Men go through as internal nurturers, we go through shit internally. But when we're not taught to express it, we repress it. Then we go out there to the workforce. Then we go out there and hustle more. Don't rest. Then that's when shit truly get combative. Because then we come home to a woman, again, who's an internal warrior. Because she had to war and deal with all this shit that's going on within her body when she having a fucking child. And then she still is trying to not only receive nurturing from the man what is it? She's trying to express nurturance when you're talking about women who never been nurtured for some, never had people nurture them through it. And then the focus is being nurturing the woman and the child, but not the man. He's an internal nurturer. He needs that reciprocity too. Through the whole fucking shit. That's what's so fucked up about all this shit that y'all don't fucking, this belief system, oh my God, it's stupid. It's really fucking ignorant. If you think men don't need support through that shit from other men and other women, some of the women, bro, some of the shit is so traumatic to see how you are treated through the fact of people withholding support emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Dealing with y'all motherfucking mothers who are wounded, dealing with y'all fucking fathers with insecurities, projecting their lifestyle, money, belief systems, and so forth. It's so much that goes into this shit that y'all don't realize the deep aspect of partnership and realizing the partnership with yourself. There are people right now still carrying on the fact of what was said to them even when y'all were pregnant together. And what I mean, it's a mental and emotional thing. When a woman is pregnant, there's a fucking intuitive thing. There's a rhythm that you both carry. This is what a midwife told me. Rest in power, Nana City. There's a fucking rhythm you carry. You're just not in sync. Why the fuck you think the shit doesn't work out when you choose a co-parent or people walk away? You're not in sync with yourself and in sync with each other. And y'all don't realize it's all this. It's a rhythm. It's a frequency. The shit that you refuse to heal and declutter within yourself, you're not in sync with each other. And for some of y'all, when you look at the depths of it, Some of y'all, through karmic shit, you had to learn you were never meant to even have children. That's what leading with lust or leading with the intention to trap somebody. And what ends up happening, your karma plays out through that fucking child. Now you trapped yourself in a lifelong lesson. Y'all got this shit so misconstrued, bro. People are still healing from the fact of a part of them prolonged grief died when that child came, mentally, spiritually, physically. Not so much in a physical sense, but the fact of living with that shit. The fact of their whole life, the rim of things changes. And not to mention how the shit has been designed, people, and how they convinced our mothers to hold on to so much shit intergenerationally. You don't even allow the man to come into his fatherhood without judgment. You don't allow him to come into, you automatically project your unhealed shit you don't even know of. You project your belief systems that you learned from your mother and father, where he has to be this, he has to be a pastor, he has to have this money, what is he doing? All this fucking pressure that you're asking one individual to be under. No one can sustain that without fucking crashing out. He got to already deal with his own fucking emotions. He's not being nurtured through the shit because he got to nurture his internal little boy. Because men are internal nurturers, external warriors. So you wonder why the fuck it comes out as a warrior. He fucking tired when he don't know how to assert himself healthy. And that don't mean just in a combative way. That's through actions. His actions. That's why you have men run away. They run away from the shit. Again, actions, assertion in an unhealthy way. Run away. Dissociate completely. Because they had to deal with a mother or their children who don't know how to have emotional empathy because no one showed her how to have emotional empathy for her fucking self. To show up, to actually hold space. No one had empathy or supported her healthily through her pregnancy. It was just a man and he wasn't there and she needed him for this. We're dealing with the fact of when they say it takes a fucking village, it takes a fucking village of functional people that knows the importance of partnership with themselves, that knows the importance of being in tune with them fucking selves. This is what the fuck has been exposed so we can actually build healthy community, holistic community, community of people who know self, community of people who have navigated through emotions, shit that they have navigated through generational shit that they have to overcome, that they can actually be honest and talk about and can be relatable. And can understand and come to an overstanding without fucking judgment and casting stones or throwing shit and hiding their fucking hand. Because it's all what y'all been doing. This what y'all been doing? This is exactly what y'all been doing. And you get mad because nobody want to bring their fucking child around y'all. I'm telling you from lived experiences. I'm telling you from authenticity. I'm telling you from the fact of having to deal with people where, again, I'm not being perfect. I had to learn emotional maturity through, again, a mirror aspect of the mother of my children. I had to learn through shit where you're not perfect. You got to learn that. Hold on. So before you judge me, before I judge, there's something deeper here. Before we met each other, we were never taught the importance of what? Who gave you a foundation to what your internal belief system is? Do you know how to have your own? Have you developed your own belief system? Is your truth somebody else's truth? And most of the time, that's what the fuck y'all dealing with. It's okay to go into being a co-guardian. Because basically, you're just deciding you need work. You need to do shit with yourself. Not in the way where you just jump into some shit. Because a lot of you haven't set with shit. A lot of you haven't set with nothing. A lot of our mothers, think about it. They didn't give a fuck about the emotions of that man and jumped into write something there and had another child. Y'all gotta realize the wickedness in the inconsideration around a lot of shit, bro. They didn't even consider the fact of the child. That shows you the wounding, the deep inner wounding, the father wound. And that shows you, again, revealing the fucking emotional abandonment issues They just had to be with somebody. So a lot of what the healing actually is ushering in and initiating is a significance to being a co-guardian. Because it's something that the divine needs you to see so that you break the cycle. Because that co-guardian, being that shit, can lead to a community of people who realize the importance of that. To where you realizing your happiness was never dependent on that child or that person or even you being what you call a family, because the bigger picture from all that is it takes a village regardless of this shit. It takes a community. And when you look at communion and unity, you and I, and unity meaning one, the oneness, people having a interconnectedness and an understanding of what you do affects everybody. That's the ancient teachings. That's the shit that's returning. A lot of shit that's returning and ushering in the actual divine feminine and masculine aspect of this shit. The actual mothers who actually see that they're healing and what they do, and other children that's not biologically theirs actually are influenced by what the fuck they're doing. Not just a biological mother. The other women that will actually hold those other kids accountable. Discipline. Some of y'all told y'all in other videos, y'all gonna be in place of children who are not loved correctly. Your mother is no different than you realizing that, damn, I was that child that wasn't loved. So in this, I had to learn what it is to be lovable. A lot of us are not lovable because we don't know how to love our fucking selves. Y'all don't know how to be loved. Be the love that you're seeking. Because seeking ain't just you looking, it's seeking you. That's what the inner work is. It's the same thing go for men. This is why the fuck I could not at all allow see these characters on this world stage and so forth. Bro, no. A lot of these men couldn't. No, I had to learn from the fact of the mother of my kid's father, my own father. All these things you got to take in consideration, the details. For one, are you in tune with yourself? If not, you're a fucking liability to what I'm creating and building. For not just for my son, but for my son to be influenced by, to have an effect, to realize what type of men are important when it comes from them knowing their importance of their childhood, their brotherhood, manhood, and fatherhood. All of that shit comes into play. Same thing with women. Y'all got the consideration of that. For what you consider placing your child in someone care or whatever it is, that's why all this shit has been dismantled around child care, all this other stuff. All this stuff is showing you the manipulation and control where y'all just put y'all kids, and I get it because it's in a way you were forced or manipulated and deceived into doing it. Like you didn't have any other choice. No, a part of you healing and coming in partnership with yourself is also coming back home to yourself to develop a system and awareness around what the fuck you are building now with intention. Where the people that you once were, leave your child with, or people that you surrounded by, oh, no, we're not doing this no more. Baby girl, you jealous. You this, you that. Oh, yeah, so we're not doing this. That's how deep this shit gets. Where you can actually mesh with people. They're in the child, have fun, not pick up on the energy. Ooh, girl, you jealous of me. You in secret competition with me because what? You focus because my children look a certain way. Women that focus on, you think your child don't supposed to support another child because of their what y'all call a disability, that don't still make them not unique. That's still fucking unique. The shit y'all find reasons for not to be around somebody. That's why the fuck I couldn't fuck with a lot of you characters. Y'all don't have no integrity. You're not authentic. You would keep your children away from the fact of just because this child has this deformity or whatever it is, just because they child don't have money or as much money or live in your community and all this other bullshit. Bro, y'all so divided. All this ego shit gonna dissolve. All this shit that y'all value, it's gonna blow up in y'all fucking face. It's gonna backfire. None of that shit matters. That soul, that spirit came in here to live its experience, to also to be loved and lovable, no matter how the fuck it looks externally. It's still discernment though. You still gotta be discerning. Like I said, same thing with you dudes. This is why I move the way I move. Once I hear how you this, nah. Like I said, certain homeboys, nigga, you ain't do no healing. I already know what you subjected to. But you around children? Nah, ain't nobody gonna hold you. I'm gonna hold you accountable, bro. Get you together, go heal. See why the fuck what's really going on with you. You gotta go get therapy, whatever it is, do it. Get to know you more. But before you think you gonna come into my life, which my world is also connected in the bridge to my children's world, now you got it fucked up. I don't have the same conversation with the mother of my kid. Bro, listen, you may not think this is important right now, but eventually you may have to go through some lessons to realize, hey, and that's why I tell you, some people don't know. You got some people who just want their family around just for convenience, just for tradition. We are moving the fuck away from that shit. We are recreating what tradition is because tradition has allowed our children to be touched unwantedly. Tradition has allowed religion to allow certain people of certain religious beliefs to control and deceive our children not to get away from getting to know their fucking self or leaning towards their own spiritual gifts, their imagination, instead of looking external for some shit. The fuck and you. Having y'all believing that you can have your spiritual beliefs, so what? But for you to actually not want to deal with someone and you feel like you gotta harm or you gotta devalue that person and project whatever it is just because, you still can learn something from that person. You ain't gotta be around them. Now, that's where the line gets drawn where motherfuckers kind of come and project, well, if you're not a Lord and Savior, or you gotta do this, you gotta do that. Man, go on the fuck head, dog. Because that's different when you try to come and convince and project and manipulate my child. That's not happening over here. That's not happening. That's why sometimes you got to surrender. And even if you're not with the mother of your kids or father of your kids, whatever the dynamic, sometimes you got to realize these energies are going to expose people. And it's going to eventually, as long as you're sometimes in a position to walk in integrity. That which you didn't know, now you know now. If you know better, you do better. So now you'll come to the realization, all this shit playing out, this restoration or this balance being restored, is only going to expose the shadows of people. And the Most High will deliver the enemies right into your hand. Certain things will happen. Once you become the observer and you pay close attention, you're not going to get so attached to the fact of, oh, I want them to do this. You'll realize what they're doing is revealing their shadow and their control around it. And all that fucking control is going to eventually be exposed. And when you're in a position of staying rooted in truth in a higher frequency, which the collective is rising into, you will be 10, 20 steps ahead. I'm telling you from lived experience. That's why I sit back and let people think they don't one up on me. And then the divine deliver their ass right into my hands. And that's why I have the opportunity to balance the fucking scales. That's what partnership with yourself is bringing balance. That's why when you think that something is going somebody else's way, you let them create karma or dharma. You let them think they getting away with shit. That's what surrenderance. I had to tell somebody else, let them think they win. You let them win the battle, but you won the war by choosing your peace and choosing to be balanced. And let that shit play out. And whatever they try to do, whatever intentions behind it, you let them realize that they only create more karmic debt. And eventually get to that point where it'll backfire and it'll become very tragic, because depending on your ranking and who you are internally, listen, the divine will not hesitate to remove a motherfucker. Y'all gotta realize, like, it get that fucking deep. That's why I've learned through situations and through circumstances where, oh, you know what? I'm getting off this karmic loop. Fuck that. I see this shit because this karmic cycle. Because for one, I know exactly what's going to happen. Because if this person take this belief system or whatever it is into some other shit, their lesson, notice how, if you know, spiritual ass whoopers and lessons, boy, those justice spirits, hey, that's why some people, you can fuck around and find out and play around with shit until boom. How many times you want to keep learning this shit? The divine will tell you. You don't keep doing some shit and knowing that it don't get to that place of transition or what y'all call unalive. That's just like you tell a child, don't play near the road. Go to the backyard. It's no difference in telling somebody, hey, bro, leave that person alone, this and this, because, you know, it's intuition. You pick up on stuff. Hey, you still hanging around such and such? Hey, you doing this? Because some of you are a crossroad. That's what balance brings too. Is that you will be a vessel for, you know, letting somebody know, like, you know, like, yeah, bro, yeah, nah. And that'll be your discipline. That which you used to do, you don't do no more. And it'll prepare you for a more harmonious and prosperous and abundant life. I got to realize a lot of these lessons come to show you, what am I not seeing that I need to see? What didn't I see before? I had shit playing out like currently I didn't see this before. What was I leading with before? Now I know not to do this. And that can bring balance to your life and bring harmony to the other person, but they have to be willing to do that, not you. When you do the inner work, it leads people to do the fucking inner work, to take responsibility of their own life instead of trying to think that you are the cause and the problem. That's why you see so many non-contact with a lot of elders or a lot of parents and so forth, is because y'all don't realize you're forcing these people to actually look in the fucking mirror and see themselves. That's not your obligation. That's why some people can feel obligated to when you have children or move on with life, and they'll talk shit and say whatever. But the more they focus on you and not focus on themselves, you're not losing out. They're losing out. Because they have to be willing to evolve with you. Or meet you where you are, which is, again, they have to meet themselves. They have to go deeper. They have to get to learn themselves. What's keeping you from progressing instead of you blaming this other person? And that's the thing where deception comes in. Nobody can convince me otherwise. I know what the fuck I'm building. Why would I want my kids to live in? I have to see what the mother of their kids going through. I have to see what other people going through. I have to see what my grandma. I have to recognize the energy. I'm not building a life towards what I'm creating that will be a bridge for them. An abundant life. Why the fuck would I want them to actually go towards hustling and building a life towards balance? When this happens, how you going to counter it? When this happens, okay. Learning yourself through it. And they naturally know how to self-loathe themselves. Y'all got to realize, self-soothe. Is it self-loathing? Whatever it is. They naturally know how to do this. You got to realize we naturally know partnership with ourselves. We come from a higher power to where these things are innately there, that we're born with it. It's how much we've got away from it to where we're coming back home to ourselves. And with that, that's going to come with certain relationships collapsing. That's going to come with certain things. And if people are willing to do the inner work, they're going to be willing to meet you where you at. You ain't got to force them. And if they don't, life goes on. That's how you see when certain people in life, like when somebody dies that they've been married to and so forth, some people, they move on, they wait a couple years, or they don't at all. Life's still going to go on. Ooh, that was a vibe. I don't know if y'all heard it, but yeah. But yeah, that's just what it is. So again, a lot of these things we come back home to ourselves to really see who really is. Can you get along with yourself? Are you lovable? Are you, like, all these things play a major factor in how you live out this experience. So yeah, that's on you. Peace.